Moving into session 4, we are talking about mate selection. I think mate selection is a very important topic when we are talking about family units because the two people at the top tier of the family unit are the mates of the family, the adults, the ones that have selected each other to potentially procreate with, to raise children. Who we select to be that person is very important. Think about what happens if you select the wrong person for that. Think about how great it might be if you select the right person for that. Your textbook is going to take you through some thought processes of how to select your mate. What are some things that we should be looking for, and what are some red flags that we should be staying away from? Selecting a mate is likely one of the most important aspects of building a family unit. So I want you to really use this section as a reflective piece for those of you that are in the process of thinking about future mate selections. When we get started in this particular session, you are going to jump into chapter 5 and you are going to read pages 94 through 102. Stop when you reach that Finding a Partner Online section, and then wrap up with pages 109 through 113. So I have picked some things out of chapter 5, not holistically looking at chapter 5. There are some aspects of chapter 5 that might be interesting to you, but they just didn't line up with the course requirements. So if there's things in chapter 5 that interest you that I haven't assigned to read, feel free to read, incorporate them as you see fit. Just know they are not required. You are going to begin by completing the Stages of Family Life journal. You're going to do that by watching the Crash Course in Sociology number 38, which focuses on stages of family life. This is really a progression of the family unit. Kind of starts out when you're singletons and moves on to children leaving. This video might be one that you need to watch twice, and you need to be ready to probably take a few notes as you're watching so you can figure out what those stages are. You guys know by now that Nicole Sweeney talks pretty fast in these Crash Course videos, and so you might need to pause once she starts talking about these stages of family life. There are 4, so you need to make sure that you identify each one of those stages and then explain that stage in your own words based upon what you've learned in the video. The second question of the journal asks you how mate selection can affect the family life cycle. That's huge. That is definitely a response question worth your time and worth your energy in reflecting. You should be an expert at the journal entries and how that is formatted by now, but I'll just make sure that you see my guidance here. All right. Reminder, these are college level paragraphs, so we are answering these reflection questions in more than just a sentence or two. Reminder number 1 has 4 different stages, so you'll need to identify those 4 stages and then explain them. And then number 2 should be a pretty deep reflective question, as mate selection is pretty huge in the family life cycle. Make sure you click that blue Save Changes button in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen in order to submit your journal entry. The next assignment incorporated in session 4 is the mate selection lecture notes. You are going to watch a lecture by Dr. Dan. This is a sociologist that talks about mate selection and the topic of love. So you are going to click on this link here, watch his video, and then jump into the lecture notes. Remember, you're going to make a copy. You are welcome to choose how to complete your lecture notes, whether you watch his video and then complete them, or whether you're watching his video, pausing his video, and completing the notes as you go. It is totally up to you. Please make sure that you're posting a photo in the upper left-hand corner here, and then you are going to put your notes on the right-hand side in the notes column in a different colored font. Your reflection questions also go on the right-hand side, and then your summary pieces go at the bottom. Once you have finished adding your information to your notes, you are going to see a submission link box at the bottom of your screen. So, of course, mine doesn't show because I'm an instructor. You'll submit through your Google Drive and make sure that you get that confirmation that it did submit. All right. I hope that this particular session is reflective for you. And I hope that if you have not yet selected a mate for your family unit or for your future, that this section gives you lots of information to think about and ponder on as you move forward in your life and in your mate selection process. Maybe even after you get done with this, you will have more insight to share with those in your family unit. Please reach out to me immediately if you have questions or concerns. I'm always just an email away.